Welcome back. I have been putting off recording this video for a little bit, but I felt it was time. Felt it was time. So at the beginning, I showed you a brief, minute frame there of the Eagles shirt because today we're going to be talking about freedom and going back to our roots. So I titled this one Embrace the Possible, Bridge the Gap. Eleanor Roosevelt once famously said, "You must do the thing you think you cannot do." And in the photo on the thumbnail for this upload, I sent the picture to a friend of mine, and she's helped me out a lot. Sometimes more than I feel like I deserve, but we all deserve what we feel that we are worth, and that is where worthiness comes from, right? So uh, her response was heartfelt. She said, "I looked determined," and I am. So I wanted to record this video as a point in the progression to give people an organic experience of what we are about, to show the vision that I have foreseen and am very passionate about implementing and bringing this platform and this solution central database with partners and projects and this whole operation to the world. Uh, let's dive into this. Let's get back to our native roots. Uh, so that's just preamble of kind of what we're going to talk about. Should get a bit into my story as well. A lot of reflection has been happening, not just for me, but for a lot of people. The only way out is in, right? To go within the introspection journey. And I had a conversation with a friend of mine recently and reconnected. And a lot of talks that are occurring right now are about healing and reunification. So much disconnection has been at the forefront of humanity for so long that it's time we go back to our roots. That is how we address the issue, right? The roots, the core, go to the center point to fix what is causing the symptoms. And it's important to protect your respect, know your value, because if you don't know your value, how do you expect anyone else to, right? Exactly. Uh, and I said to her, I don't think most people can understand the strength it takes to pull oneself out of the depths of hell. And she replied, "Me too, but I also know that many do not want to relive their traumas. So they just sweep them under the rug, not knowing that it's going to keep coming back until they do the shadow work. It really is the most liberating thing. you can do. And I felt that. It was deep. I felt that. Attract Passion, another great channel to check out. He said recently, healing begins where courage meets responsibility. It's about accepting the responsibility, not only for the trauma that we may have inflicted upon others unknowingly, unbeknownst to our conscious self. It's also about accepting the pain that we cause ourselves. There's the song by Lit, My Own Worst Enemy, right? Music. There's a lot of power in that. That's how the artist was feeling at the moment. And a lot of people can resonate with that, right? So I thought that was beautiful. I was also reminded recently that the mind replays what the heart wants to heal. How true is that? How true is that? Tim Urban posted on X recently. The brain is our hardware. Human nature is our operating system. Culture is our software. Memory is our hard drive. Knowledge is our data. Hang on one sec. Okay, that's better. Language is our internet. Protect, protect your information. One sec here. One sec. All part of the journey. Technical difficulties, right? Every setback is a set up for your comeback. Use the lesson in every responsibility. With a calm mind, the answers always arise. So there was a lesson in that. There's always a lesson in every moment. And that is what gives us the momentum to continue on. Let's continue. I watched a movie recently with a friend and wasn't certain that I was going to enjoy it. And she's an amazing woman. I've come to know and respect. And uh, interesting name too. That has to do with a victory. Let's leave it at that for now. But the title of the movie is The Giver, and the quote from the movie is even more beautiful. Tomorrow, the only thing that changes is what we do. It doesn't change who we are. The Giver, right? So we were sitting there, and 3 hours go by. Hmm. Interesting how time operates, right? When you're not paying attention to it. And I was doing a bit of a fast and a bit of a cleanse, and wisdom was coming to me, and something that just popped into my mind, or I was reminded of, really, is that strength comes from the ability to overcome adversity. Strength comes from the ability to overcome adversity. How beautiful is that? How beautiful is that? So there was a time in my life uh, recently where there was a lot of obstacles to overcome. And at the time going through that, there was a lot of suppressed anger that I had to release. A lot of suppressed anger, right? And I took it out on family and friends. And hindsight's 2020, right? But it happened for a reason. And using that now as stepping stones to help others is, I find, what the intention should be, right? Using that. When I left, I was preparing and making it up as I go also, right? Didn't really have any plans. I was just a traveling nomad when I left my parents' place. And my dad said to me, it's like you said, Steve, you will figure it out. You always do. I didn't have a place. I flew off to Texas. The rest of that story is coming soon. Stay tuned. But flew off to Texas, came back, was homeless for a bit, and I'm back on my feet now. Back on my feet. The story is coming to fruition, and more and more of the lessons are helping me to also help others, which is great, right? Before you can help others, make sure that your cup is full. Otherwise, it creates an unbalanced energy, and that doesn't do anyone any good, does it? So, the movie The Giver was about an apocalyptic type future, which we've averted. But that's why I didn't think I would be into it at first. So I love a good underdog story. A good underdog story. I was recently watching um, The Rings of Power season two and Shadow and Flame season two episode eight. Right, being reborn, birthed, coming out of hell, and the healing process and the resurrection. At near the end, Galadriel said to Sauron, who wanted all the rings so he could use, he's like a Lucifer, false agent of the light, and would manipulate people and get in their heads, could change what they would see. So she knew him well enough. And she even deceived the great deceiver, which was impressive. Reaches out her hand with the intention to give it to him, and he was shocked when she took it back and sacrificed herself. There's more to that story. I don't want to ruin it in case you have intention to watch it. But she said to him, "You wish to heal Middle Earth? Heal yourself." Wow. Oh, that's powerful. That's powerful. So there's a reason that billionaires study astrology, right? Because everything comes down at its universal core to the laws of energy. And astrology, when studied properly, can help one succeed or can hinder their growth, right? So JP Morgan said that for a reason. Why billionaires study it? Millionaires don't, but billionaires do. Now, Rahu and Ketu are not really touched on much in Western astrology and tropical astrology, which is inaccurate. It's not the true positions. But Rahu is known as the north node of the moon and is considered a malefic planet. When Rahu is in a person's birth chart, it can bring about obstacles, setbacks during its planetary period known as Rahu Dasha. This period can last for 18 years and can be a difficult time for many individuals. That right there, that right there can give a lot of answers. Sometimes people don't know why their life feels the way that it does. Just sit there and focus. It's so easy to focus on the negatives when people don't feel like their life is going the way that they thought it would, right? Like, for example, tonight I had plans and they didn't quite work out the way that I had thought, right? Never expect. As Mr. Stone says, you expect, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. However, it played out exactly as it was meant to, because if I had those plans, if those plans had played out the way that I had thought they were going to, I wouldn't be recording this tonight. No. So it's a good thing that it worked out the way that it did, right? Everything is good. So Rahu influences material desires and ambitions. Ketu guides spiritual growth and inner fulfillment. Rahu is currently transitioning the intuitive sign of Pisces until May 2025 this year. Now, Pisces is the astrological sign that is the bridge between earthly and spiritual realms, which inspired me to title the talk the way that I did. Rahu in Pisces is like a portal to the self's discovery and evolution. Vedic astrology, or Jyotish, uses sidereal zodiac, which is in alignment with the actual position of the stars as they are. Now, let's get a little personal. I was born September 22nd, 1990 at 4:20. And in Vedic, so between September 16 and October 15 is the Kanya. Kanya's essence is drawn to precision and profound desire for order. So I am very much a perfectionist. I'm analytical. I have an analytical mind to see details that most others tend to overlook, which can be a blessing and a curse. It can cause overthinking, but it can also allow for extreme precision in creating and crafting products, seeing details, adjusting certain things, making fine tweaks in companies. Uh, Sometimes it's just one little thing that needs adjusting. And as Mr. Stone said, we have moments of perfection. So I try to get as close to perfection as possible because we're born perfect, aren't we? Yeah. So we should strive for perfection, but don't let it lead you to insanity. Trust me, I've been there. It's not fun. More on that one later. So, similar to now, right? After the bubonic plague, the Renaissance occurred. Renaissance is a French word meaning rebirth. It refers to a period in European civilization that was marked by a revival of classical learning and wisdom. Now it's funny how AI comes after Renaissance, right? AI. It sounds like run. What do our minds do? Well, it runs the body. Now the ego, the self, that which thinks, feels, and acts, the ego's default function is to keep us in a state of security. It wants to feel secure. That is its main job on autopilot. What is safe and familiar? As the mind isn't wired for happiness naturally, an expansion, but something awful, full of awe, occurs when we break this constraint and take a risk to gain the reward. Anytime we do something new, there's trepidation, said Marcy Shimoff. During the January 1st, your best year yet, Zoominar, a Zoom and a webinar. Following one's soul mission is a sure and fire way that brings about fulfillment as long as one is able to be brave and follow the intuitive inner compass that is seeking a deeper calling, sacrificing short-term discomfort for long-term joy, true satisfaction, knowing you followed your heart's desire. And I think there's a lot of power in that. to fulfill one's desire because it's easy to get stuck in a rut, but eventually that unhappiness will come. It will come to the surface. It will come up. And that is what is occurring now across the planet. People are being forced to look at the parts that they didn't want to, one way or another. It will come to the surface eventually, right? And those big changes will manifest in different ways. And they will have to adjust the game plan for their life, right? Following our purpose, right? Does the universe truly test us or does it reflect us and give us what we need? Which do you prefer? Staying stuck in stagnation or acting upon courage and riding the wave? This is another great quote I heard recently. Your wealth isn't just about what's in your bank account. It's also about how it can help you live a fulfilling and balanced life. Money may be absent, but your vision is the wisdom, is the wealth that no one can steal, right? And there's going to be more for my story to share when the time is right and when I feel called to share it. Life isn't always easy. However, it's how we respond in those circumstances that determine our character and shape and form our morals and who we are as an individual. And Chris Brady said recently, uh, New York Times bestselling author, and he's on the top 50 list of leadership experts to follow on social media. He said, if you aren't willing to lead yourself, you are unfit to lead others. And there's so much truth in that. So much truth in that. So, why I do this is because I want to use my healing story, my struggles, and overcoming the traumatic obstacles. And my dad said that I've seen things that people shouldn't have to see. But I remind myself that I chose that. I chose that, right? The healing is hell. And the blessing that comes out of that lesson is to use it to help other people. A friend of mine said to me recently that I don't like the people that I hang around with now. They think that I'm a narc, which I thought was kind of hilarious. She said, "You're too clean. You don't fit in with these other people." In my mind, I'm thinking, it's because you just don't know my story. But I hope to share that with a lot of people and bless many people because that is what the purpose is, to share what we know. And wisdom comes from overcoming that adversity and not staying stuck, continuing to get up, right? Strength is in the spirit, and the spirit is tough. The spirit is tough. At the very end, I kind of linked together a few clips from previous videos and the edge. Talk about living on the edge. Um, Todd was sharing his story when he was being chased by a grizzly bear, and there's interesting synchronicity there. The quote from the movie is, "We're all put to the test, but it never comes in the form or at the point we would prefer, does it? You know, I once read an interesting book which said that most people lost in the wilds, they die of shame. What? Yeah, see, they die of shame. What did I do wrong? How could I have gotten myself into this? And so they sit there and they die because they didn't do the one thing that would save their lives. What is that, Charles? Thinking. Well, you can think your way out of almost any situation, but without action, the law of attraction becomes a state of faction, doesn't it? Right? It's easy to beat ourselves up. But what can we do? What can we do in the moment to propel ourselves into the future that we wish to see for ourselves and for others? How can we use our talents to get what we want by helping others get what they desire? That's the blessing. That's the blessing. So I hope this message reached whoever it needs to reach. And I look forward to sharing more with you in the near future. God bless. Stay strong. Remain faithful. The plan is moving exactly as it is meant to. Be easy on yourself. Forgive yourself. And take all the time you need to heal. I wish you all the healing that you are willing to put into yourself. Don't be afraid to ask for help if you need it. And with that in mind, have a wonderful day or night. Until next time, bye for now.
You can have moments of mastery or truth, but there's always going to be something that you don't know. There's always going to be something else to find out.
And there's
There's always
always
going to be
ways
another
to find
adventure.
it, right? Like if I don't
There's,
know
oh
the answer to
yes, oh
something,
yes,
I know where to find it.
absolutely. Yeah, oh, you know, well, you're special because you know everything, but most people don't, Steve.
I'm not God, Gary. I don't
No,
know
but
everything.
you are, and you do, and so do I, and so does Cole. But
understand that, yeah.
I could
It's
add.
a deep, beautiful subject, quantum mechanics and quantum physics.
Steve, just the other day, before he called me, I had spoken to a gentleman that he had talked about the grizzly bear attack. I was trying to remember the movie that I saw, this grizzly bear attack, and I was trying to relate to the story, and I couldn't remember the movie. Then a day later, Steve tells me that the movie Edge, and I went, wow, how crazy and quantumly entangled is that?
It just came up on my feed. It came, I
Yeah.
think it was Prime, Amazon Prime or Netflix. Came up on my feed, and I'm like, you know what? I just read the description. I didn't even bother watching the trailer.
Yeah.
And I knew that there was some type of teaching moment in there, because in the description it said, what if your worst enemy was your only chance for survival? And I said something was calling me to watch that, because I knew that there was a teaching moment that I needed to learn, because I'm struggling. I'm being tested every day by people attacking me, critics challenging me. But it's good, because it puts you to the test. Because echo chambers are dangerous. Yes, it challenges you. If you just have people regurgitating information, you're not being challenged. You're not growing daily. If you're not growing daily, you're actually staying stagnant, being left behind, right? You're not expanding your mind. We have such beautiful biological structures and chemical composition that it would be a shame, in my experience, to waste the talents that you have and that you're born with to bless other people, to bring happiness. Scale.
Mm-hmm. I think that even your what you're doing with solutions with Steve-O, you're going to make a lot of money, man. Because if you keep on bringing people together and that's your solution, people have to pay you.